Hi, I wanted to start this episode with a brief disclaimer. You're going to hear me do a lot of screwing around trying to get an RFA offer sheet on Miguel Sergachev. And basically, the problem was I don't understand RFA rules as well as I think I do. When you have a contract longer than 5 years, it gets averaged over 5 years regardless of the actual term. So my 6 year deal for 4 point something million was actually coming out to 5 mil when it was averaged over 5 years. So that's why it was going for the first and third level. So I just wanted to mention that because I figured it out as I was editing the show, and rather than wait till next time to clear it up, I just figured I'd throw this in here and mention it. So I'm an idiot. Carry on about your business, and stay tuned for episode 2 coming right up. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Seattle Sentinels NHL 21 franchise mode. Um, I'm going to pick it up where we left off with the start of free agency in the 2020 season. And at first, I'm going to do something you're probably not going to like. I'm going to break out some PowerPoint. I wanted to kind of look at the lineup a little bit and just kind of set some lines and see what holes I have in the roster. So as you can see, left wing's a bit of a work in progress as we only really have two useful guys, and then Engva, and they're both RFAs. But I do expect there's going to be a lot of free agents at left wing. Center, we've got enough guys. We just need to re-sign them all. Strome is the only free agent, and then unrestricted free agent, and then Hintz and Cunnin are both restricted free agents. Right wing, we have bodies. Sprong's a little weak, maybe. Ryan, nothing special. So I mean, unfortunately, kind of spoiler looking ahead, the free agent pool, right wing's not very strong in the free agent pool either. So this may be what we're stuck with at right wing. On the defensive side, we got a good top pair. Shea and Bear are 84 overall each. That's pretty good. But then the quality drops off, and they're all really young guys. So I wouldn't mind maybe adding a body or two on defense. We're set on goaltending. Rittich is our starter. Husso is the backup. Depth forwards, Jankowski's probably fine. I'm not sure I want a young guy as a depth forward because, you want a guy, if their guy's got any sort of prospect juice, you probably want him playing every day. So, same with Sorry Arvi as the seventh defenseman. So we probably want some depth signings as well. So, but first things first, let's get into re-signing our own free agents before we get into full free agency. As I mentioned, we only have one unrestricted free agent, and that's Ryan Strome. Um, I want to double check that. Going to check the goalies as well. Sorry, oops. Let's try that again. Okay, no goalies either. So Ryan Strome's our only UFA. 4.9. Let's get him down a little bit. Let's try 4. I always like shave a little bit off the contracts on UFAs, at least as a first pass, or at least when re-signing my own guys at the first pass, I try to shave a little money off. And then RFAs, looks like we got 9 or 10 of them. Again, no goalies. All of our goalies are under contract. So let's start looking at what these guys want. 3.7 for Bear. Brat 1.7. Okay, that's Brat's cheap. I'll just offer him what he wants. That's anything when it's under. Well, I'll give him a little bit of a discount, see if he takes it. But it's like when it's under, 2 million or so, we'd probably usually give them what they want. If it's over 2 million, then it starts to get into tough decisions. Okay, Myers under 2 million, 1.75. I'll go for that. DeBrusk, let's see, he wants almost 4 million. Let's take a run at it at 3.75 again. Again, I like going to the nearest quarter, 250,000 mark. Drop Hintz to an even 4 mil. Let's go back and get Bear, since I didn't actually give him a contract. So let's do 3.6 for him. And back down to Cunnin. He wants 3.4. Okay, well maybe shave a little bit off. Or let's give him what he wants. He's 22. He's part of our long-term future. Now the lesser guys. Okay, Sorella under 1 million. Yeah. And certainly anyone who wants a two-way contract gets whatever they're asking since it doesn't go against the salary cap. So, sorry, RV, 700K. Okay, that's fine. And the other thing I like to do, and I don't have to, but I always, as a sign of respect, I always sign my first round pick. Just seems like it's the right thing to do. Also, mentally, it helps me plan to kind of reserve that roster spot. So even though I know you don't have to sign your draft picks, at least for my first rounder, I go ahead and sign the first rounder out of the gate. So let's advance a day. Brusque signs. Oh, look, everyone's signing. That is pretty good. I think we got everybody. That was easy. Let's double check. Yeah, all expiring. Nobody's. All right, everybody signed. A surprisingly painless free agency period. But then again, when you're first an expansion team, you got money to throw around all over the place. So, and just kind of reviewing where the roster stands. We get pretty good at center. We got bodies for the majors and a big club. Left wing, we're a little bit weak there. But then again, like I said, it's probably the strongest position in free agency. Right wing, we've got our top four. We got two guys in the minors, so we'll probably need some depth signings there. I would like to push that up a little, but realistically, I don't think it would. And again, I would like at least one, maybe even two good defensemen to try to kind of push some of those give those younger guys another year in the minors, maybe push the depth chart up a little bit. I'd rather not start Foot. I mean, also they're not fully scouted. They may not turn out to be in the 81s when they actually get fully scouted. So also maybe a quality question of trying to get a slightly better set of guys. Also, oddly, I've gone so heavy on right-handed shots that we actually kind of maybe need a left shot defenseman in the mix. And goalies, okay, we're going to need a backup goalie in the minors. I mean, we've got Rittich and Husso at the big club level, and then Gustafson's our starter in the minors, so we'll need a depth goalie at the very least. So left wing, defense, goal, and then just general depth signings seem to be where we're headed with this. So let's get to it. I mean, I'll still look at the names at the other positions, but I don't expect to sign anything at the other positions. So center. I mean, there's in some sort of weird ideal world, I kind of like Halla. Cirelli's kind of cool, but he's an RFA, so I'd have to give up picks for him. Left wing, here's where it gets good. We got Hoffman, who's a little pricey. Duclair, on the other hand, 375. Let's try to get him quick. Athanasiou is another possible target because I mean that guy's at least he's fast. I mean he's actually fairly cheap. He's asking 275. Hoffman he's certainly talented, but 8.1. I'll put it this way: if I can get him to come down off of that, maybe. But so if nobody's biting, I may come back to him, but certainly not out of the gates. Let's see what else we got to deal with. I mean, we do have tons of money at the moment. Defense, we got Buff. Sergachev would be nice, but he's also an RFA. I've always kind of liked Vatanen. He's a decent little player. I'm going to see what Sergachev's... See if I can get him... I think I'd be willing to give up my second round pick for him, so let's try that. Let's try 4.2. Well, actually, hold on a second. Let me think about that. Let me make sure that that's the right offer sheet. Hold on. Okay, so 4.36 is the second round. I could live with a second round. I don't know that I'd want to pay a first and a third for Sergachev. But a second rounder for a guy who's like a 22-year-old top four defenseman, I'd be willing to do that. So I think I'm going to try to target Sergachev. And if I lose my second round pick, I'll live with that. So let's get back to what we were doing. So Sergachev. Oops. Nope. Let's try. Well, actually, first let's get Vatanen. I'll get an offer on Vatanen as well. Drop him down to for the 250. 4 years. That's fine. All right, Sergey. Come on, Sergey. You know you want to come and play for us. We'll go 4-3. We'll go pretty close to the line. Wait. And, okay, first and third. Let me think about this for a little bit. Let's try this again. Maybe I typoed it, or let's go down to 4 million. Nope, first and third. Okay, not sure what's going on there, so... Well, for the moment, let's not mess with it. For a moment, let's get some of our other depth signings. I doubt anyone's going to sweep in and get him, so let's get some of our depth signings straightened away, and then we'll come back to that. Alright, that Dahlin kid, he was one of the guys we were looking at in the expansion draft, and he's a UFA, not an RFA, so we can just put an offer on him. So that'd be good. I think I'll put an offer on JFK as well. He's a decent young player, or more like probably more organizational depth than necessarily like an A-list prospect, but you know, he's on a two-way contract. I'll take him. Left wing. Let's look for some kind of, guys with some potential, guys with some, potentially two-way deals, so we don't have to worry about hitting the salary cap. Anything jumping out here? Ooh, elite defenseman. I don't know that Nasson and Rassinen are necessarily really elite. They may just be products of poor scouting, but I mean, whatever. I need bodies, so even if they're not elite, I'll just grab them and throw some offers at them and see what happens. We still need a backup goalie. So we got some starter qualities: Sogard, Soderstrom, McAnemy. I feel like, okay, Sogard's the younger one, so and Soderstrom's a little bit older. Let's go with the younger one. I mean, neither of them's really a great can't-miss prospect, so let's go with the guy with the couple more years to maybe put it together. Mads Sogard. Okay. And anyone else we want to look at while we're here? Do we want to go for Athy now? Yeah, let's go ahead and put an offer on Athy too. Athy's kind of if he's on my lines, that's cool. If he's a depth forward, that's cool. I think he could maybe swing him over to right wing if we had to. Okay, Nasson, those guys all went somewhere else. Sogard, Rassinen, so that's 3 guys that didn't. Oh, Dahlin signed at least. So 1 out of 4 on the kind of depth signings. Okay, no, you can't have Eric Stahl. I'm not trading my number 1 center. That's kind of silly of you to ask. We have Vatanen, Athy, Duclair, JFK. 4 for 4 on those signings. Sweet. So we're actually starting to put the band together. We've got some left wings now. Let's take a quick look at how the depth chart looks now. So center, Stahlstrom, Hintz, Jankowski, Cunnin. That looks the way I would want it to look. Bratt, Athy, Duclair, DeBrusk, Engvall, Eberle. Okay, see, this is starting to shape up to the roster I want it to be. You see, Foot is still top 6. I'm not crazy about that. I mean, at least not to start the year, or at least not until I get full scouting that says he's definitely in the 80s. If he turns out to be in the 80s once he's scouted, maybe. And once again, we're still a little imbalanced on left-right. I don't know how much I care about that, but it's something to kind of keep an eye on. So let's get in. Check our goalies too. Yep, Gustafson's still our only go, and in the system, just kind of checking number of bodies. As a pet peeve, okay, I don't like having computer like creative players taking minutes from guys that I could be developing. So it looks like I need some wings and a defenseman or two for the minors as well. So, a little bit of kind of push the stack down still needs to happen there. So, try Sergachev again. Maybe advancing a day fix this. 4-2, yeah. Okay, 4-2-5, 4-3, yeah, 4-2-5. And no, still doing first and third. Okay. Well, you get Hamannik. I mean, he's a decent player. He's another big buff. We could get him for a year. Vince Dunn. I mean, he's similar player. Well, that's a scientific method. Let's see if this also happens with Dunn. I mean, he's not as sexy as Sergachev, but let's at least test the waters and see what happens if we get the same. Because we can always cancel the offer. Okay, it's also first and third. Okay. Well, Buff. I mean, Buff's a right shot. See, the two guys I would really want are the two left shots, and they're both the RFAs, and the other two are Buff and Hamannik are both right shots, which just kind of, I mean, they could play off the opposite side, I guess. It doesn't really matter, but I don't know. So I guess let's go ahead and sign Hamannik. Alright, so Hamannik's now under contract. Just maybe start poking around some depth signings. Hoffman still hasn't come down at all, so I mean, I have the money for him, but I'm going to hold off on that. Still need that backup goalie in the minors as well. Since that Sogard kid got taken, I guess we'll go with the second choice there and go with that Soderstrom. That's fair. It's the minor league backup. I don't know it's that all that important anyways, but let's get that guy inked. Sorry, I got the sort order wrong on these. Let me fix that. Alright. Wolski is elite, but he's in his 30s, so he's not really a prospect. Some of these other guys, you got some fairly young guys there. I mean, since this is organizational depth, you kind of want them to be guys who could step up and play if they had to. Like maybe someone like a Perron or a Liar. So yeah, also maybe looking at guys who have some speed. So always a sucker for speed. See, Perron's 87 for Lear. Yeah, there's some guys that might work here. I mean, I think Perron's a good choice. I think maybe Lear as well. And then Zikov. I remember him being somebody sort of famous, so I'm going almost on name value with him. But also just a different look, you can't go all little small fast guys. You get a bit of size in there as well. Right wing, and right wing is, boy, it's almost as dire in the minor league signings as it is in the majors, isn't it? I mean, but it's just not a lot there. Oof. Corey Perry, ooh. Is it 19? Yeah, or no, not 19. He's not that old. But let me think. What do I want to do here? I got some bodies here. Let's try Hoffman. I mean, I got the money. There's not much else to spend on. So let's see if we can get him down a little on dollars, and actually probably down a little on years too. Because let's try like a 2-year deal. Because I don't really want to get a 7 times 5, 7 times 6 would be ridiculous, but 7 times 2, that kind of gets him into the fold, and we can kick the decision down the road. And if he plays well for us, we give him an extension. If he doesn't, then he's kind of a bridge to the next generation of the roster. So that's I didn't necessarily plan on going after Hoffman, but seems like I have the money, so let's give it a shot. Okay, people really seem to like Bobby Ryan. I'm not going to trade him now, but maybe down the road. Okay, my depth signings are starting to come in. Hamonic, yeah. Okay, so that's... Okay, all 5 of those guys came in. But there's Ryan again, like I said. He might be a guy maybe I move him at the trading deadline, depending on where my team goes this year. Because he's not really long-term part of the future, but the short-term right wing sucks, and he can at least play. So, and the problem with him was always the contract. He's an okay player. Just when he was $7 million, it was painful. We're gonna try Sergachev again, and it's still not doing what it's supposed to do. It's frustrating because I would really like to get him. He seems like he'd be fit my team really well. And of course, part of it is just I get to this point where I start obsessing about a guy and get stubborn about it, which is not to the long-term health of my team, but it is what it is. It is known, Khaleesi. Let's take a look at the depth chart here. We got center still looking like pretty much locked in the way I want it to be. Left wing's fine. I mean, obviously, these aren't necessarily the actual order of the lines. I mean, that'll depend on chemistry, and that'll depend on what they are when they're fully scouted. But, I mean, I don't necessarily see Bratt as the number 1 wing. I mean, theoretically, we're short a right wing. We could have one of the left wings play on the opposite side. I mean, now certainly we got bodies on defense. Even now, though, it still seems to want Foot to be a starter, which I'm not. I feel like Foot could. I'm just not. I'm skeptical that 81's going to hold, and I think he's going to need another year in the minors. Just kind of a hunch, so I'm not sure. And if he's the 7th defenseman, I don't want a 21-year-old playing, once out of every 4 or 5 games. That's not good for his development either. So even now, I feel like maybe I could use another body on defense. But again, unless I want to take the left wing's a freaking wasteland, so unless I want to take yet another right shot and play him on the opposite side, I mean, Buff maybe? I mean, he's only asking for a 1-year deal, which that's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, that's the sort of, and also, sort of real life thing. That might be sort of thing an expansion team would do to like sell some tickets, juice the ticket sales by having a name veteran come in for a year or two. So, what the heck? Let's put an offer on Buff. I mean, sell some jerseys in the team shop, as it were. So now we got Hoffman and Buff, and I mean still got plenty of cap space. So I mean, even if those guys sign, I think we still end up with like 8 or 10 million. Meanwhile, while we're waiting on that, I'm actually going to try something that I've seen in Toogie24's videos. He basically goes and looks at the really young guys who are asking for a little bit of extra money, because those guys sometimes turn out to be asking for money because they're good. Not always, but it's a method that he uses that I thought was kind of interesting. Only problem is, it looks like most of these guys are centers, and I mean, I don't really need that many more centers, or at least certainly not for like a just random scratch off. On the other hand, this guy Jacobson, he's a left wing, so let's try the Toogie method on this guy, see what happens with him. And goalies, let's do the same search on goalies. Okay, we're into 20-year-olds, but okay, we got a couple guys here. Gravel? Probably Gravel. Let's let him be fancy. Alexis Gravel, he's an option. And okay, Jordan Cooey, also an option. So let's give Cooey a contract. Why not? I mean, what's the worst thing that happens? Is he's, you know, tied up in the system for a couple of years, or we have to cut the contract or trade him for garbage. You know, you can get out of a two-way deal fairly easy. You know. So, and let's take one more sweep through more normal prospects. Just, you know, again, we're just looking to fill out some depth on the roster. Wolski, I mean, Fortin, he's like a former first rounder, I think, so I can go put a contract offer on him. Even though I just said I don't need centers. Olin, yeah, he's kind of slow. Never mind him. Anyone else? Schmaltz, you know what? Having a good right now, I got like my starters, and I got a bunch of prospect defensemen. So having just a kind of Joe Lunchpail defenseman who can kind of bop back and forth between the minors and the big club, that's not a bad thing to have either. Oh, we get Hoffman. All right, that's kind of exciting. We got a true star type player now. All right, Cooey, Jacobson, yeah. Well, Cooey was that his junior's logo? I'm a little. Did he sign with us or not? It kind of blew through his text, so I don't know. Let me check that really quick. Hold on, recently. Yeah, I guess. Okay, I guess Cooey's. Okay, I guess that's probably his minors team or his juniors team or something, or minors. So don't let the logo fool you. I think we got him. So, or don't let the logo fool me. Maybe he didn't fool you. But again, let's see where the depth chart stands at this point. Now we went from 2 left wings to having like 5 or 6. So whatever. Worst case, we're playing one of them on right wing for a year until things even out. Defense, yeah, still where it needs to be. Goalies, looking good. Okay, in the minors, we got Gustafson. Okay, we got 3 goalies in the minors now at this point. Centers, we got looks like maybe 5 or 6 bodies at center. 3 usable left wings. And 3 usable right wings. So maybe 1 more wing each. And looks like we got 5 bodies on defense. So maybe 1 more. Though defense, I got Schmaltz. I got that pick still out on Schmaltz. So I don't need the defenseman, but maybe 1 more wing on each side. Just literal. I don't care who it is, just as long as it's not those goofy CPU players. We also have the offer out on buff, so we really don't need a defenseman. And meanwhile, I'm gonna be stubborn and bang my head against this rock one more time too, because why not? And yep, still not happening. Why is that? Oh, whatever. Not the end of the world. Okay, let's go get those wings. Anyone interesting? There's guys, a sprinkling of guys I've had in other franchises. Let's just go with this Wolski guy. I know he's not elite, but you know what? He gets credit for my scouts thinking he's elite. And I'm going the complete opposite direction, going with JT Brown. He's showing AHL, but you know, whatever. He is what he is. So, and having a few dependable veterans in the minors helps the actual prospect grow. So, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world either. So, let's crank off a couple days and let those signings come in. Okay, Schmaltz, Inks, Fortin. Fortin? Is it a French pronunciation, perhaps? Hey, Buff is now on the team. So we get the big boy for a year. And that's fine. You just, bring him in for a year and then let him roll off next off season. And that's probably no harm. Or even just trade him at the deadline. I mean, I think now the other option we can look at, speaking of trades, maybe we can look at trading for a left defenseman. We could start with. Let's take a look at the block and see what sort of teams have stuff available. I'm just going to kind of skim through. I'm not going to necessarily Okay, Hjalmarsson and Goligoski and Demers. Again, I'm not after the second pass at this. It'd be distinguished between left shot and right shot. So, like, okay, Hjalmarsson's a lefty, so he might be an interesting guy to go target if I can't make anything else work. Okay, no on Boston. No Calgary. Nope. Carolina. Nope. I'm sorry. Nope. Okay, Keith and DeHaan. Keith's contract is ridiculous. Correctly. DeHaan maybe. I mean, though again, DeHaan. I don't know. An 81 overall is really an upgrade. So back to the world of no. Okay, Savard. Nope. The Kaiser's old and not all that good. No one. Edmonton. No Florida. Nope. The Spurgeon. I'm 90% sure he's a right shot. Petrie. I'm not sure which side he is. Okay, Islanders only looking to unload forwards. Oh, Jack Johnson. No, never. I'd love to add Subban, but come on, it's, the salary, that's pretty high. No. Flyers unloading prospects. No on Penguins. Vlasic, $7 million. Again, I don't want that much salary. Done. Stick a finger in my eye, why don't you? Thanks, Trade Finder. And again, Sergachev, yeah. Okay, I mean, see, he's on the block. Maybe we could trade for Sergachev. I mean, that's an idea instead of, trade whatever we would have traded for, or given up in the RFA deal. And okay, well, why don't we look at that? I don't want to spend hours on this, but let's take a look at Sergachev at least. Let's see if maybe we can get an offer on that. Sergey, will you come play for us? Tampa, can we trade? No trades. I'm feeling like it's because of the fact they don't have cap space. They only got 1.7 under the cap, so that's probably the problem. I mean, my team doesn't suck that bad. I gotta have some stuff. Let's go take a quick look at some of the options on Arizona. We got Hjalmarsson. He might be. It looks like he has as much value as. Well, Goligoski doesn't look like he'd be that expensive in terms of trade value, and he's a left shot. So let's see what they would want for Goligoski. And it's a bunch of prospecty type deals. Chmelevsky. Well, that's a fair offer. Just do I want to do Goligoski at that point? I mean, that's. I mean, if I really get annoyed at having defensemen playing the wrong side, that certainly is a deal I could do. I mean, Goligoski, 34, and he's making 5.5 million. That's kind of steep. I want to check. Was it Petrie on Montreal? Kind of a little bit curious about him, but he's a right shot, so he's be a continuing part of the same problem. Do they have anybody else? Looking kind of their red guys, see if there's anyone else interesting, but no, not really. Well, I think maybe that's where I'm going to leave it for now, and maybe kind of revisit this all in training camp. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.